Welcome back, guys, gals. Another episode of the Crazy Sasquatch Show coming to you live. Well, we're live right now. When you watch it, it'll be, when I was an hour or two, a week past. So, we do all our videos, no editing, no commercials. We just go through it. Whatever bloopers we have. If we forget names, we just have fun with it, guys. So, we're about 3/4 of the way through all the teams. We've done all the NFC teams. We're over halfway through the AFC teams. We're going to start on the AFC West today. I believe this is up like episode 21. We picked the Raiders and the Broncos today, guys. The Raiders and Broncos of the AFC West. We're going to cover some of the predictions that you see on the board back here. The Raiders and the Broncos. We've always covered, see, no bloopers. We've already covered the NFC, so some of the teams they played. Plus, we've covered half the AFC. So we already have wins and losses on the board from those previous predictions. So we brought them over from them episodes. Had to keep them the same on here. So we'll get going. Raiders, guys. One other thing, you guys got cats at home? What's a cat do when they kill a mouse? They bring it to the front door or your bed, wherever you're at. We got a Sasquatch around here. So we come out here to do our show today. Yeah, he leaves us a little present, guys. Somebody must have been outside our house last night. So, got cats, you know what a mouse is, if they got a present, well, we got a gift last night, so Sasquatch is out here somewhere. He'll appear on the show again sometimes, guys. He's just too hot out right now. Middle of the day here, he's off napping somewhere under a shady bush. So, like I said, thanks for tuning in to the Crazy Sasquatch Show. We'll get going with the Raiders. Raiders. Still got Derek Carr. Hopefully he can stay healthy. You signed Mariota kind of as backup, so good plan B there. Mariota, I should say. I love Josh Jacobs. I had him on my fantasy league team last year as a rookie. This year I expect even more out of him. I think he's if he's there in the first round as a running back, maybe not the first one or two one or two, but middle of the first round. If he's there, guys, he's gonna put up the numbers. So I like Josh Jacobs. Waller, you picked up Witten from Denver or Dallas. You picked up Denver. What was those days again? You picked up Witten from the Dallas Cowboys. I was kind of shocked he didn't retire again, or he just didn't say the Cowboys. I'm really surprised he went with another team. Just kind of was a shocker. But you got Waller and you got Witten, so a couple tight ends you can toss the ball to. Wide receivers is my concern for the Raiders. You drafted 3 of them in the draft. A couple of them are probably going to be starting for you. Ruggs. You got Tyrell Williams and Hunter Renfrow. You guys, you were 9th in the pass and total offense last year, which, with the names of the wide receivers, no real huge names, a lot of rookies, that really shocks me. I guess good job, well done, being 9th in the pass with no big name players, but this year we'll see if we can say the same. Rookies aren't going to have as much preseason to get ready, learn the speed of the game. So that could be a little determining factor going into the first few weeks. Defense, you had, what was it? Not a bad defense, 19th. You lost a couple guys, but you brought in a bunch of guys on defense this year. I see you guys doing a lot better on defense. You got Gokowski from the Bears, Littleton. Carl Nassib. I think your defense is going to be even better than what it was last year. Offense, similar. You just got to get your rookie quarterbacks going. I think running backs and quarterbacks, you're set. Tight ends, you're set. So overall, not a bad team. You just got to get your wide receivers going with your quarterbacks and get your defense to gel with each other, but should be a little bit better. So with that, we'll get going with what we think Raiders are going to do. You got anything to say about the Raiders? All right, we'll go with the Raiders. First 4 weeks, sorry guys, are already filled out. We've already done Carolina, New Orleans, New England, and Buffalo. I see you go watch the previous episodes, but with Bridgewater coming in here new, even with McCaffrey, I think week 1, I think you got this. Would be a close game. Playoff caliber teams coming up. Brett don't think so much on New England. I kind of think that with signing Cam Newton might be a little better team than what we think now in the last couple of weeks. So first 4 weeks already taken care of. Here comes Kansas City, guys. Super Bowl last year. Kansas City really didn't lose anybody that's going to hurt them. They actually gained a pretty good running back in the draft and some other players. So another loss right here off the bat, guys.
Kansas City, they're in Raiders and Broncos division. Kansas City, I've said this in an earlier video, they're definitely going to get the first spot. They're both sides of the ball, they're better than both of these teams. On both sides of the ball, maybe Broncos are slightly better on defense, maybe Raiders are slightly better on defense, but Kansas City's way better on offense and offense on both of those teams. And I think they're not going to have an easy one. It's going to be like 10 points at most, and Raiders are going to lose.
Oh, it don't work. Sorry, guys. For Raiders fans, I had to do something. It ain't working, though. Oh, well. Fun of editing. So, anyway, back to the Raiders. Bye week, much needed bye week coming up here, guys. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Tough one here. Tom Brady knows how to manage the game this much into the season. He's going to learn his new players, his new team, new scheme, coaches. Cleveland, this was kind of difficult. When you come back and watch our episode, we'll go back. We go in depth on this one a little bit. I think Cleveland might put something together. You had Odell Beckham injury last year. Mayfield wasn't doing the greatest. You got good running backs in Chubb. The defense could come together. I just see Cleveland being a little better team this year. And then the Chargers, division rival. Looking at this, ouch, guys. Very ouch. You guys start winning some and make the playoffs. You got a new stadium. You got a new stadium, new hometown here in Vegas. Raiders, you got to show up here a little bit. I think with the Chargers, I think it's time to show up. I think your defense takes charge here. You pull this one off, I think a pretty easy victory.
And I also have a victory for the Raiders. The Raiders, this is actually going to be a pretty close game, probably a field goal, touchdown, but Raiders, I predict this game, Josh Jacobs, the running back, second-year running back, is going to have over 100 yards this game and lead the Raiders, lead the whole game in rushing yards on both teams. Raiders, Derek Carr, if he's not working out throughout the season, you can put in Marcus Mariota. He's also a very good quarterback, and I think they would win this.
Your power is a weak. You don't know the power of the dark.
All right, guys, week 10, Denver. Talking about the dark side. You guys are winning some here, guys. It's the dark side of not the playoffs. So Denver's going to be a tough team. I like Drew Lock. I like what they do with running backs. So young wide receivers. Denver's going to have a tough defense again this year. This one's at home. I think Denver and Oakland are going to be right there. Two very competitive teams, a lot of similarities. Being this one is at home, and it's a must-win. I think John Gruden finds a way to motivate his guys and does pull this one off.
Raiders going to Denver going to Raiders. They're pretty even teams. I've said both these teams are battling for the wild card in the AFC. One of these two teams is going to get it, but they're too much of an even team. They both have great defenses. They both have great running backs. I predict Denver's going to have a very good quarterback. Raiders have very good quarterbacks. Maybe Broncos have slightly better receivers, but Raiders have slightly better. Their defense is probably equal, though. But since Denver's going to Raiders, I'm gonna give Raiders the win. But if it was at Denver, like later in the year, I'm probably gonna give the win to Broncos.
Here comes one of your division rivals, guys. You saw them win the Super Bowl in your division last year. Like I said before, I don't think Kansas City's got hurt at all. A lot of times a team wins the Super Bowl, half the players sign major contracts at other places. That really didn't happen. You lost some running backs because you had so many of them, but you gained a couple of nice ones, or you gained one really good one in the draft, kept a couple more. I don't see any real deficits with Kansas City. Sorry, Raiders, you're just not quite to this caliber yet.
Kansas City going to Raiders. Like I said earlier, Raiders maybe have a slightly better defense, but Kansas City's going to have a way better offense. I just don't see a way of Raiders winning this. Maybe like 5-10% chance, but they're not going to win.
Like I said before, it's kind of a must-win this part of the season. Atlanta and Jets. Atlanta's going to be a tougher team. You know, Atlanta could make the playoffs this year. They made some adjustments.
No.
He says no. You know, they got two good wide receivers. I don't know about Gurley. I don't know if Gurley can hold up, but you can watch Atlanta's episode. Listen to our talk about Atlanta. Jets, just not quite there yet. Up and coming team. So we move into Indy. Phillip Rivers. I think the Raiders have seen Phillip Rivers before. I think you've seen him quite a few times. They may know how to stop this. I think the defense here might know a few things about Phillip Rivers and what he may try to do, even though he's in a new team, new coaching. Indy's got a couple of good running backs, decent wide receivers. I think the difference in here is Oakland's defense. I think Oakland's defense can stop Phillip Rivers. I think you've seen him enough. Not real mobile. Might be a blitz match here. You're going to beat us by your quick passes. We're going to attack you, or sack you. So, being this is a must-win for the Raiders. Indy, I hate to say it, but I think the Raiders know your quarterback too well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna 2 wins in a row. First with Indy going to Raiders. I would give Indy the win if it was at Indy and the Raiders were going to them. But these two teams, both of them are playoff contenders, but they're both very good teams. They both could make playoffs, but the Raiders are slightly better and they have home field advantage. Chargers, they do have an up-and-comer quarterback. A rookie. We can't think of his name right now, but he's going to be good. It's going to be late in season, so he's going to know. He's not going to make as much rookie mistakes, but I don't see them winning against the Raiders. Probably a top 10 defense, 15 offense, and against a rookie quarterback. It's not a good matchup against a rookie quarterback and a top 10 defense.
Chargers, I agree with Brett. You got an older veteran quarterback that came from the Bills or you got the rookie playing at this time. Depends, I guess, how the Chargers are doing this time of the season. But even with that, I think the Raiders have a better defense. Miami, just going through your growth spurts right now of kind of rebuilding. Denver, I think Denver's looking for the playoffs this year. You beat Denver at your house. I think you go into Denver. It'll be a tough fought game. I think that both these teams are going to be very hungry, but being at Denver, I think Denver pulls Week 17 off with a win, or with a win. Sorry, Raiders.
At Denver, like I said up here, if they're playing at Denver, they were gonna lose, and they are gonna lose. They're too much of an even team, and I only can see the difference in home field advantage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a little difference here. I got you guys going to 8-8. Brett's got you going to 10-6. Wild card. I don't know if I can see you winning your division because of Kansas City, but hey, 10-6 will probably get you in this wild card. 8-6. Guess what? We'll see what Denver does. And yeah, you can't count the Chargers out yet. We'll do the Chargers and Kansas City tomorrow's episode. So we'll see what Kansas City and Chargers do. But we'll move on to the Broncos now. Broncos, Drew Lock came on the end of last year, end of the season, did really well. Got Lindsey, got Gordon coming over. Two good running backs. So you got two good running backs, an up-and-coming quarterback. Sutton. You drafted Judy in the draft, along with Hamler. That's my concern here again too. Young wide receivers. You got one in Sutton that's been there a couple of years. Then you got a couple of rookies. You might be relying on your tight ends and Fant and Howerman more, with Dink and Dunk. That may be one of your downfalls. Broncos total offense last year was 28th. Ouch. And you got a better running back now. You still need those wide receivers, guys. Nick Fangio is your head coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, which makes sense why your defense was 12th overall. You had a very good defense. You added a few guys this year. You already had Shepard Von Miller.
And your Callahan was injured last year, and Vic Fangio and Callahan are always together on teams, and since Callahan was injured, they didn't have their number one corner playing, and they're still the 12th best defense last year.
Yeah, so I see the defense coming up even more. Offense, I said with a defensive-minded coach, and not a lot of wide receivers there, guys, until they up and come. Maybe later on in the season, but being the season the way it is, not a lot of preseason, not a lot of practice together, that may hurt. With saying that, we'll get into the Denver Broncos here. Week 1, Tennessee. Tennessee's always that sneaky, tough team. You don't hear a lot about them, but they're always there at the end in the playoffs. Derrick Henry. Denver, you're going to have that defense stop Derrick Henry, but I think with the quarterback and some of the wide receivers you got there in Tennessee, it's going to be a tough game, but I think right off the bat, with the lack of wide receivers and learning, I think Tennessee pulls this one off within 3 points.
A 2-year quarterback that only played 1 or 2 games last year, going against probably top 10 defense this year, probably top 3 running back. It's going to be a very tough matchup. It's at Broncos, but Tennessee is probably going to have a slightly better offense than the Broncos this year. They're going to have a better offense than the Broncos, but Broncos defense and Tennessee's defense, Tennessee's probably going to have a slightly better defense this year, so they're probably going to have a slightly better offense and defense, and Broncos, they're going to be good, but on a 2-year quarterback, they only played 2 games last year, going against one of the best defenses, they're not going to win, unlike week 2 against Pittsburgh.
Now, the fun of already doing previous episodes, we got to run down through week 6. Pittsburgh, we got you guys beating them. I said, watch our previous episodes, we'll go in more in depth on why and reasoning and stuff, but Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger back, I still don't know. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Jets up and coming. New England. We did the episode before they signed Cam Newton, and I don't know, it's no guarantee Cam Newton's got the winning job there in New England. So we'll see how that happens or how that works out. Miami rebuilding. Here comes Kansas City, Super Bowl champs. Like I said before, they really have not done nothing to detriment their team. They're still a tough team. I think Kansas City pulls this one off.
And same with the Raiders. Kansas City, their Broncos may be slightly better on defense, but Kansas City's way better on offense. And that's going to be the main thing why the Kansas City Chiefs win against the Broncos, is because they have a very good elite offense compared to the Broncos, probably average to above average this year on offense.
Much needed bye week. I got you at 4-3, right there in the playoff hunt. So kind of recoup. Atlanta, at Atlanta, it'll be a tough one. Matt Ryan, 2 top-notch wide receivers there. So you got Gurley. Can his knees hold up? I don't know if Atlanta's defense can stop Broncos offense with the running game. I think that the Broncos defense can slow down Atlanta's offense. So what happens here? Raiders, we just talked about it. Rewind about 10 minutes ago and you'll see this one. Chargers. Good defense. Bosa, some decent players on defense. I think Broncos probably got a little better overall defense. A little more in the Chargers tomorrow with Kansas City, but I'm not sure who's going to be starting for the Chargers. You got Eckler as your running back / wide receiver or whatever. I mean, he ain't going to put up 1,000 yards. He's going to maybe have 700 here and 700 there as wide receiver and running back. I think running game may be a little hurting here. I see Broncos pulling this one off.
And I think this is a pretty easy win for the Broncos since Chargers are going to Broncos, but giving them the win here, but Chargers losing your veteran quarterback, even though he didn't do good last year at 20 interceptions. I still think it's an improvement at quarterback. I think that they lost their running back to Broncos, Gordon. So their running back could be anyone. Broncos, they stole their running back, and
payback.
Broncos are going to have slightly better offense. Chargers and Broncos defense probably even. Maybe Broncos slightly better this year.
Saints. You watch our episode on the Saints, guys. We got some big predictions for the Saints. Kansas City. Same thing as just before over here, guys. Just too much of a well-rounded team. I'll let Brett do Kansas City, and we'll jump down a couple.
At Kansas City, Drew Lock, the quarterback for Broncos, he's already been through 12 games this year, 2 last year. He's going to be good. I predict he's probably going to be an average quarterback. But at this point in the year, Broncos, better defense. Kansas City, better offense. But even though it's at Kansas City, I actually see the Broncos getting a sneaky win here. And it could be by 7 points, by 3 points. Last second score against the Chiefs. I actually see the Broncos pulling a sneaky win off the Chiefs.
Okay, so we got a sneaky win there. Then we move on to Carolina and Buffalo. I think Broncos are a little better than Carolina. Buffalo, I think you're an up-and-coming team. Look at yesterday's episode. We kind of covered New England and Buffalo. And then here comes the Chargers once again. I think the same goes for here, even it's at the Chargers. Gordon's going to be wanting payback against his old team. I just think Broncos got a little better team at this point in time. And they may be looking at the playoffs. I got them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wins. They're going to need 8 to make the playoffs. I think maybe Kansas City may win this division. We'll see, but there might be a wild card with one of these two teams here. This is going to be a must-win. Seeing this record. This is a must-win. A very must-win for the Broncos. I think they pull this one off.
At Chargers, again, they're going to get a win here. Broncos are easily going to beat the Chargers, but these Broncos stole their running back. He's going to get over 100 yards. Drew Lock, probably 2 touchdowns this game. This is probably going to be a pretty easy win. Probably a touchdown last second or at least a touchdown win.
So this is interesting, guys. To say, just scenario-wise, if Kansas City has a better record than 10-6 or 8-8, if Kansas City does win this division, and a wild card comes down to these two teams, or a wild card, 10-6, 10-6, 8-8, 8-8. We both got them splitting with the Raiders on wins and losses, so they split. and they're both at the same record. This could be very interesting going into the the final weeks. One game difference is going to change everything. But if this comes out to be true, and the Raiders and Broncos split, in the regular season, their wins and losses against each other, it'll be interesting here, guys. I said these two teams are very equal. We think. Kansas City. There could be some upsets here. There could be some other. It could be interesting. So, like I said, with this falling into place, it's in this division could be very fun. Fun game to watch, or fun division to watch. So we're saying that tomorrow we got the Kansas City and the Chargers, and we'll round off the West. We'll have one other division to do in the AFC, and then I think we'll do an episode on the playoffs. We got our playoff teams and wild cards. We may do an episode on who's going to go all the way this year into the playoffs after we get done with the AFC here in the next couple of days. So we're saying that from the Crazy Sasquatch Show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.